Howdy.
Howdy.
How do?
How do?
Well,
how do you?
I don't know.
I just got a push alert, so this must be serious. We've
Really?
got the top headlines.
Do we?
Allegedly.
Okay, apparently yeah, folks know that we're on now, right?
Yeah.
Welcome to 9 News Now. Hey, there it is. Actually, that's the one who's
The powers that be.
The powers that be behind the cameras,
Yes.
the ones sending out the push alerts, the ones pulling the strings.
Oh.
Welcome to 9 News Now.
Welcome
to a
it.
Not Monday.
Yes, I believe we call that a Tuesday
Normally.
around these parts.
Normally.
And on this Tuesday, I tell you what, the shot over downtown
Yeah.
Baton Rouge was really cloudy about 10 minutes ago.
Yep.
That
A little
shows
bit.
how shifty the weather is being in our part of the
Shifty.
world. Shifty.
Shifty.
You can't trust it. It's
No,
like a shifty eye.
You can though.
Yeah.
Trust Steve. Steve Caparata, obviously all morning long talking about what it was going to be today. The headline maker again.
Yes.
And stepping you through, you got future radar right here, and you can kind of get a feel for the timing when those showers are going to show up. Kind of like yesterday, maybe not as crazy for some. Heck, you lost power. You said for how many hours?
So 4 hours, right? Starting at 12:15. I lost power for about 4 hours during that storm that just kind of popped
Yeah.
up right around lunchtime.
Yeah.
So if that was you, yeah, I'm sorry, because it got a little toasty yesterday too.
That was my exact timing as well. You and I live like miles apart
Yeah.
in Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
But right about that same time is when it started at my house as
Yeah.
well. I didn't have to deal with any power outage,
Good. I'm
thankfully. But yeah, that's a long time to be dealing with power outages. So hopefully nothing like that today. And apparently today going to be the last of for a few days. Then the dry out.
We cannot wait for all of that.
Yeah.
So you just got to stay with our weather team as they track all of this. But today, you're going to need that umbrella. That umbrella has not gotten a break.
Yeah, I know.
Unfortunately so.
It hasn't. All right, so where do you want to go from here? You want to do what's coming up today with
Yes.
schools, or you want to do where we are about to hit with masks? Where do you want to go?
Ooh, let's start with schools
Okay,
first, because I
schools.
know that's on a lot of parents' minds
Yes.
here as we kind of
Step out of the
navigate.
way.
Okay, my kids are going back
Yeah.
next week. Some of my kids are going back this week. What is my school district requiring? Well, we're trying to hone in on that and make one convenient place where you can go to see all of that information. We've just heard from Livingston Parish. They are asking their students to wear masks indoors. We're waiting to hear from Ascension Parish and, of course, EBR.
And EBR is supposed to be making that announcement today. There was a lot of a bit of confusion,
Yeah.
understandably. Because look, I mean, think about this. 3 weeks ago, this is not where we were. You saw some numbers here and there, but 3 weeks ago, we knew Delta was around. We just didn't know the impact it was going to have. And now it's as bad as it has ever been, numbers-wise. So what does that mean for schooling? As school begins, we already have some in session, as you mentioned. But this is going to be that update, that spot updated. Will we be required?
Yes.
And at this point, the governor has come out with a mask mandate saying,
Yes.
actually, yeah, it is going to be required. Businesses, schools, if you're going inside, mask mandate for those vaccinated and unvaccinated. So the answer is pretty much yes, but we will keep you updated right here.
That's it. And
All of
speaking of, for the rest of the state's population, our mask mandate goes into effect tomorrow.
Yep.
And so it might as well. It's good practice to start just
Yeah,
doing it now,
yeah.
just so you know.
Sure.
And this is for anyone who is vaccinated and unvaccinated.
Exactly
So
right.
this goes for everyone who's spending time inside, especially if you find yourself in those tight spaces where you cannot socially distance yourself 6 feet. That's a
Right.
lot of places.
It is, and so that is the importance of the mask. Obviously, everybody wanted to be beyond this, but we did not do enough when we needed to
Right.
to get beyond it. And so now we get to mess around with Delta, and by mess around, I mean people are literally in the hospitals at all but unprecedented numbers, and people once again dying because of COVID-19. This Delta variant is beyond nasty. The majority of the folks are unvaccinated as they make their way into the hospital, so it's scary. This is going to be our reality until at least September 1st with masks, right?
And it can be extended if the
Exactly
governor
right.
sees fit, just based on the state's data, depending on whether the number of hospitalizations and the COVID case counts go down, he could extend that. But we're still a ways away from
Yeah.
September. Things could improve over
We
the next
could
couple
change
weeks.
that. We
Yes.
could change that.
Yes, we can. So it really is dependent on what people do, the decisions they make, the places they go, the vaccines they do or do not take.
It really
That's just the
is.
reality of it.
It is. I know everybody wants to be done with this. Who doesn't want to
Right.
be done with this? But there are things we can do to make that happen. So a lot to get through.
Yes.
And it really is a lot when you think about everything that you're going through. Jimmy, just think about how you're dealing with all of
Yeah.
this, the mental capacity to handle and deal with all this, and then think about children.
That's why Callie Hubbard was live with an expert over at Ochsner talking about how children are processing all of this, how they may process it, and how important it is for you to have these talks with them, and in certain cases to get help.
A lot of it is, and I'm just speaking from my own experiences with my children. I have 3, and each one of them has nonverbal communication that you pick up on, and each is a little bit different, and you can kind of gauge as a parent. You can kind of figure out, you kind of see something maybe a little bit off.
Yeah.
And that is a great way to go about maybe the day-to-day normal life. You can kind of pick up on a little thing here and there. But quite honestly, right now, as a parent, I don't have time to wait and kind of gauge. But it has to be direct, and that's how it is in my house. How are you feeling right now? What are you worried about as school's about ready to hit again?
Yeah.
Where's your mind? What can I do to make this better? Because man, they're going to be going through it. I was literally emailing this morning with a teacher from one of my parents, from one of my kids' schools, and they're talking about everything that they're going through, getting ready. And I'm like, man, I can't believe we've put you through this again. Thank you for everything that you're doing. But it really is an incredible strain mentally on these students and these teachers as we go back.
And we know it's a lot for you too, parents. So Callie actually has some resources for you to reach out to a medical professional if you feel like, look, it's overwhelming for you, it's overwhelming for your child, and to seek professional counseling. It's not a negative stigma. It's why not treat that and get someone that they can talk to before the school year starts. In fact, maybe a week before. It's really good timing right now to get that taken care of and to have those conversations.
And I think you hit it. For some, it is apparently still a stigma. But I mean, you go to the doctor if you ain't feeling well, right? I mean, you go
get it taken care of.
Yes, absolutely. This is as important as the physical health. I mean, because your mental can obviously, your emotional can then impact the physical, and certainly vice versa. But have the conversations. The resources are out there because look, we are not done with this. But there is still that. Can we all be in this together to get ourselves through it? Use the resources available.
Please.
Please, please, please.
Something else you may have heard about, maybe if you have friends who are traveling because things were opening up, everyone wanted to get their vacation on before the school year starts. Yeah, but if you flew Spirit, you may have found yourself waiting, frustrated, and sleeping on a cold bench at the airport.
And you actually may, if you're doing that right now, you may be doing that for a couple more days.
Yeah.
We were talking about this earlier. So Spirit Airlines, over the last couple days, canceling better than 300 flights, delaying another couple hundred more. This is obviously nationwide, everywhere that Spirit flies. But we saw one of these passengers, actually heard from one of them this morning talking about, I missed my flight over the weekend, looking at maybe making something happen this coming Thursday.
Right.
What?
Who has the time to take off? Let's say you are working, to wait 3-4 days to get booked by chance, because that flight could be canceled too, just to get home or get to where you need to go. That's the reality for a Spirit customer. So if you have any plans to fly Spirit, maybe out of New Orleans, maybe you have friends coming in, just know that there might be some hiccups along the way.
Might be, gonna be. Check the app. Check your flight. Obviously, we tell you it all the time. Know before you go. But that's I mean that's a lot of flights all around the country. Exactly right. Actually, our Johnny Asian was literally flying this weekend on Spirit. He had some stories. You can email him.
For that personal account.
If you'd like to hear the personal account.
He will tell you.
He'll let you
know.
But yeah, so just a heads up if that's in your near future.
Yes.
Okay, so all that's going on. I hear every once in a while that sports are boring and nobody wants to hear about it.
Boring?
Man, let me tell you what's going on right now.
There's a lot going on.
From this side, I don't know if you saw this contract from Nick Saban yet. This is hilarious. We'll get into this. But did you see what former Tiger Mondo Duplantis just did in Tokyo?
Within the hour, actually. Yeah. LSU track and field star, making names overseas, winning, I believe, gold.
Absolutely. Winning gold, and then not just... Okay, so it's he and another guy at the back end of this thing. You know how pole vaulting works, or if you don't, you get 3 chances to go ahead and clear a height. Well, he clears it. The guy, the only guy, the other guy remaining didn't. So Mondo gets the gold, right? Mondo gets the gold. But now he's got 3 more chances to potentially set an Olympic record or a world record, which, oh, by the way, he already owns. So he decides, I'm going to skip the Olympic record. I'm going to go right for the world record again, which he already owns. He just nicks the bar first attempt and just nicks it the third. He is so young right now, and he's already the best on the planet, the best that the human race has ever produced in something like this. Think about that.
And he's
so
young.
And pole vaulters can keep doing this for a while. He's going to be doing this for, if he wants, I don't know, another 15, another 20, I don't know. He's still so young. Gold. at the Tokyo Olympics.
We are certainly proud of
So
her here.
good.
That's wonderful.
So good. You saw
Yes.
Simone Biles too?
Yeah, taking bronze on beam. And she's actually really proud in interviews that she's done. She's actually most proud of her bronze that she won on beam in Rio in 2016. So this is also a big moment because she obviously took herself out of the team competition,
Right.
individual competition for all of the other gymnastics events. So for her to get on the beam, a 4-inch apparatus, to do her routine and score internationally among the best in
Right.
the world, third
Right.
best in the world,
Right.
very impressive feat.
She has really put herself out there,
Yeah.
and she always has. The greatest of all time label thrown on her very young, that kind of pressure to walk around with. So then taking herself out, but just for her mental health.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know how you're on social media all the time, me as well. And and there's all these people just throwing shade at her, and all these detractors like, oh, you took yourself out of the team, but you're going
Right.
to jump back on here. It's like, look, man, you got a cold yesterday, and now you feel better. Think about that as far as somebody hurtling themselves down a runway,
Yeah.
throwing themselves at a beam, and you don't have. You have what they call the twisties. You call it the
Yes.
twisties, right? You're just disconnected. And you're going to throw yourself through the air.
Right.
And then there are those saying, oh, you should suck it up. You know, you should do, she should compete hurt.
Yeah.
Do you know how many things she's won while having a broken bone,
Right.
a strain this, a strain that? That's well documented. Don't take it from us. Go and look it up.
Right.
But she got to where she was feeling a little bit better.
Yeah.
And was able to compete on at least one apparatus.
Right.
And she did it and won a medal.
That's what's amazing about the Olympic Games. It's a test of physical and mental strength.
Thank you.
But for you to be able to come back within less than a week's time with the world mounting, with the
Feel
world
better.
talking about you,
Right.
with all the
Right.
this distraction. Another point of social media, what is fascinating to me is you have unprecedented access to what the athletes are going through.
Right.
So on social media, on Instagram, she did a Q&A on her own Instagram page, Ask Me What You Want.
Yeah.
She explained to people what the twisties feel like, and she was saying, in the air, she has no idea where she's going to
cognitive, where you
land.
are.
If she's going to land on her spine, her neck, her head, her hands, her wrists, she doesn't know. That's what the twisties feel like.
Right.
I have no idea what that feels
No.
like. I'm not in her position,
No.
but I imagine when you're flipping through the air, twisting 2.5 times. I can't even do a half time.
Look,
So
I'm gonna relate this in a way that I know it.
Okay.
I'm not anywhere near an Olympic athlete. I dove in high school. It's what took me to college as
You
well.
did, yeah.
And so it's a little bit different, obviously, than gymnastics. But there is that sensation in the air as you are flipping and twisting, depending on where you are, 1 meter, 3 meter, 10 meter platform, and then you lose connection with planet Earth, and you have no idea where you are. I can't tell you the amount of times I wrecked and just face planted into the water, welts all over your body because you smacked that hard, and that's probably just because I sucked. Okay, but literally losing the connection
Yeah.
with that equilibrium, the inner ear, you have no connection. All of a sudden, it's lost. She's throwing herself down a runway at a vault.
Yeah.
And then doing she has moves named after her.
Yeah.
They are so complicated. Nobody's ever done them. And they want her to just be like, yeah, the hell with that.
Right.
Screw your connectivity.
Right.
Throw yourself down the runway.
Right.
For team. She did it for team. Took herself out so she didn't damage the team.
And
of
they
course,
medaled.
damage her future
Right.
life. Because
Right,
she's all
can
of a
you
sudden
imagine?
like,
Yeah, put myself
paralyzed
out
or
there.
something.
Right, not
but
worth it.
It gets better.
Yeah.
And she got better and was able to literally get back on the horse, so to speak, balance beam,
Yes.
and medaled.
Yeah, a bronze. That is the
So
takeaway
good.
for today. She got a
So
bronze on the
good.
beam. That's
So
it.
good. So all that's going on in the world of sports. It's fun to talk about, especially when you get to talk about some accomplishments.
Yes, some
WAFB
positive
Plus
news.
today, right?
Yes, Johnny Asian actually coming up in about 30 minutes
right.
talking about what the...
John's
perfect timing on cue.
Now the ratings are going up.
Wow.
Now the ratings will go
That's
up.
a tease. We had the real life legend come in, talk
The
about all the
legend.
things. Yes, he's actually talking to EBR Drainage Man of Honor.
Drainage Man.
Oh, Drainage Man of Honor.
I like
yeah.
him. Frederick.
Yes.
And for those around the
He
area.
has a legitimate title, but that's just what
He
we're going
does.
with right
He
now.
does. Director of Drainage Man. I like that. I like that very much. But no, it's obviously an important conversation going on
Yes.
right now, not just in EBR but around. But obviously Fred can speak to EBR where we are right now with some projects going on. That's coming up.
That's it. 30 minutes. Stay with us
Mm-hmm.
right here on WAFB. But in the meantime, remember, in the world of weather, you are looking at another wet day.
Yeah.
So just be prepared before you head out there. Don't let yourself get caught off guard. And if you have lunch plans, just be careful. Maybe you want
I
to do a little
do.
DoorDash.
do.
Maybe you get that delivered to you today.
I got you.
Because,
That's the way to go.
It's
Gotcha.
dangerous. It's
Okay.
dangerous. Y'all be safe out there. We'll see you in 24 hours.